Thank you so much for joining us for Selection News tonight. My name is Garrett Wina and we will be taking you through the stories that made rounds of headlines in and around the country today. First, in our first story, NRM leaders from Yumbe district have requested their president to grant them more districts to help decentralize the district and fight for good service delivery. Museveni also commissioned a fruit factory and the newly constructed Yumbe hospital. Let's take a look.
Yumbe district in West Nile was today painted yellow as supporters of the NRM took to the streets to show support of the NRM party as they awaited the president, who was set to visit Yumbe district to commission the recently completed Yumbe district hospital and a fruit factory that was recently constructed in the district to bolster development. It was cheering and dancing as supporters of the NRM, especially the women, showed their support for the president. In Yumbe district, Museveni also got out of his motor vehicle convoy to speak to some of his supporters who had gathered on the roadside. And while speaking to them, Museveni warned them about the dangers of gathering during this time. Women groups in Yumbe today, all clad in the party colors, entertained supporters of the NRM as they carried pots on their head as a sign of NRM quenching their thirst. The leaders from Yumbe district, who read a memorandum before the president, asked him to grant them more districts to cater for the quickly growing population.
The local government, on their wisdom, have decided to put up resolutions for creating more districts in Yumbe district, namely Bidibidi district, Midigo district, Dacha district, and they are requesting you to support them when these proposals will be in Parliament. And they know you will do it. Your Excellency, we want...
Leaders of West Nile, led by the First Deputy Prime Minister, also pledged to overwhelmingly vote for the national resistance movement.
Because the fact that you have come has proved confidence. We are confident of you, and we believe you are confident of us. I also want to guarantee, Your Excellency, that you, notwithstanding all ups and downs, things happening in West Nile. West Nile is always hot potatoes, but we believe you will succeed in West Nile.
In his speech, Yoweri Museveni re-emphasized the purpose of focusing on people's needs instead of trivial matters which divide the people.
Why don't we emphasize the human needs of the people? Therefore, from the beginning, what became NRM, which was initially just student movement.
So, I mean, sini, ijo dora tapi NRM di doandra warengaro anji school gariba ijo ruka
was let us emphasize human needs.
Ijo na de bambogor jojola le onre ijo akoba akile kan ko ijo baba ne le dike.
Irrespective of tribes,
ijo dini ni la lo so lagako,
irrespective of religious groups.
With just a few days left to the polling date, the NRM flag-bearing presidential candidate Yoweri Museveni will continue campaigning on different media platforms. For STV Select News, I'm Suhail Mugabe.
Thank you so much, Suhail Mugabe, for that report. Now, moving on, residents of Chotara district have vowed not to vote for NRM leaders again because of the disappointment caused over the years. Now, among the promises made is construction of the Kasensera Road, which has not been fulfilled. They were also promised a rebuild of houses, which were not fulfilled. Let's take a look. Residents of Chebe County in Chotera district have come out and announced that they will not be trusting NRM members with their votes because of failure to fulfill their past promises.
Amakuba agali eno naddala mu district yaffe ne Chotera mafunyo NRM tetufuddeeko era ffe ng'abeeno tusazeewo mu kifo ky'okugenda okulonda NRM waakiri okusigala ewaka tetugenda kukombya wa NRM n'omukalulu tusazeewo tulonde ku nkyukakyuka
kikwateko kama waabwe kibateekanga munawuli oba obukadde bumeka bwe yabawanga era nekwatibwako kitegeeza ye atusindikire tubasindika abatuufu bwatuukayo abateekamu simanyi nammwe mukiraba.
These residents say that each time these officials come to ask for votes, they promise to work on their Chapaka-Sensero road, which makes residents trust them, only for a few years later to elapse with no work done.
Ate ne bakabongera oba oluusi oba olyala so nze neewuunya abantu banyiigemu kokuluno nsaba banyiigemu aye ne gavumenti yeddeko
tukubira omulanga president abantu b'emizo wadde bamulonda buli lukya era omuntu omu eyeerondobolayo nga tamulonze bamunyonyerezaako.
The road in question is 52 kilometers and residents say these promises have been made for all 3 terms, but in vain. This time round, residents have assured these NRM people that they will be more alert this time and vote for another party or go for independent candidates instead.
Chuka tukyusemu ku bukulembeze abasobola otufaako ansi okutandikira ku bakansala bachairman b'erosuwano erose ey'okutaano ba MP tetulina wa NRM n'omu gwe tugenda kukombya kalulu okusinzira nti tetusobodde tukolera ngaffe bannayuganda eri Kongo ekola nguudo ze Kongo nezaffe eza Uganda zizino nemberedde okutambula okugenda eminziro lwa kkubo
teetooko gijjeeno ogituuse ekasensero ekasensero egula omutwalo gumu n'ekitundu naye ate eno bagigula 3,400. Can you imagine?
One of the other issues they aired out was the fact that the transport costs are high because of the bad roads, to the extent that a border ride from the main road will go for 40,000 shillings, which is a bit high for them. This has also affected their business as Irish and passion fruit farmers because vehicles shun using this road due to its poor quality.
Ebirime ebyaffe kusinga eminziro tulima butunda naye ensawo y'obutunda okugenda ku tractor eggirayo emitwalo 600 Chotera. Awatali tractor tetukyalina mmotoka ndala ekola ku luguudo
wano ogera n'oyamba TZ bakubiddwa musisi n'oleka ababa abawano kiki kiba kigendererwa tewali bakombya kalulu twasazeewo naffe katufuneko abalala oba banaatulwanirira kubanga waliwo abaaliwo nga si beenaalemu naye era ng'oluguudo luno lulina enkizo.
Another issue they have faced is failure of government to fulfill their promise to build them houses after theirs were hit by an earthquake.
Ennyumba za musisi zaagwa eno president najja n'atulambula ne tumwaniriza n'atusuubiza okutuugira ennyumba tezikola ki tebazizimba naye bw'oba ng'oyagala okutuuka emiziro eno kitundu kya Uganda naye olina kuyita either Tanzania oba olina kutuuka nate n'ebyawalire baabadde basaze jjo nayo fuera.
Ismail Uthman Lubega, one of the independent candidates of Kakuto, says it is very absurd to see that even pregnant women find it extremely difficult to access the nearby hospital and asks government to grant him the permission to work on this road himself.
Abantu abo bali mu bulumi to the extent nti n'omukyala bw'aba akwatibwa okubeera ng'agenda okuzaala omwana essaawa zino kizibu nnyo okubeera ng'ayambibwa. Ndabyeyo eddwaliro lya health center naye bwe ntuukiridde ku basawo baŋŋambye ne bibakozesaamu nabyo biki bitono.
Nze ndi wano nva Lubirizi n'atuukayo ddi.
Bazaalira wano bafiira wano Museveni tuyambe government mutuyambe.
Because of all these problems, the residents hope that the next candidate they choose to represent them as a leader will not disappoint them again. Karo Tumwine for Select News. That was it from the people of Chotera, and as you can see, their road is in a critical condition, and of course they need their next leader to work on it. But moving on to the next story, where yesterday a rather disturbing video clip made rounds on social media showing a man donned in a yellow t-shirt getting lynched by a mob mysteriously. With just 4 days to the election day, there has been looming political anxiety among the electorate, causing violence, with mostly young people getting radical against people holding different political ideologies.
Gone viral shows a man vividly getting lynched by a mob off City Street, attracting mixed reactions from various stakeholders, labeling it an attack on the NRM party whose theme color is yellow. He was seen getting beaten until he sat on the floor. A non-uniformed, seemingly security officer came to his rescue, scaring the mob off, saving his life in what could have been a mob murder. Police, on a different finding, however, linked the attempted murder to a petty theft. The Deputy Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson Luke Owesigire said preliminary investigations indicate that the victim of the mob was part of a criminal gang that was terrorizing members of the public. On Wednesday, January 6th, 2021, two criminal gangs, commonly known as Chifesi and Bigali, were mobilized in Kisenyi and given partisan, politically inclined T-shirts with an intention to cause chaos and mayhem. The group walked from Kisenyi Road towards Blue Room while robbing phones and money from the public, Owesigire said in a statement published on various media outlets. The Deputy Kampala Police mouthpiece noted that the group members were rounded up by members of the public as they approached Kafumbe Mukasa Junction, beaten up and consequently undressed. Suspects included Muhammad Katerega, Bernard Ogutu and Charles Nguwiri, who were however served by police from Old Kampala that arrested them. The police publicist noted that investigations have further pointed to one Sentongo as the leader of the gang. Report compiled by Elijah Turiagumanawe for
That's it from that camp. Now it is very dangerous for people, of course, to bask on you and beat you because of the yellow t-shirt that you have chosen to wear. Now, however much it is bad, we also call upon you to avoid such partisan colors so that you do not fall in trouble. Moving on, following the recent incident of the NUP party President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu taking his kids out of the country, the NRM Secretary General Justin Kasule Lumumba has commented on the issue, saying she sees no problem with it. She further added that she does not like to mind other people's business.
Ingiranga nnyo bantu mu maka gaabwe kubabuza na mirembe mu mayumba gaabwe. Nze siri wa byabufuzi agenda nga njogera ku bantu, so bwe maze soogera ku bantu sisuubira oli naye kwogera ku famire yange. Bwe babanga famire yatudde n'esalawo ddembe lyabwe nti n'okuba nti mu Uganda waliwo ekiseera kye twalinanga ennyonyi tezikyajja, naye omulembe gwa pulezidenti Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ennyonyi zijja, omuntu waddembe okutwala famire ye gy'ayagala kubanga baba basazeewo nga famire. Abali mu by'obufuzi tubajajingire eno mu by'obufuzi byabwe. That's a private issue, it's a personal decision. Let's have demarcations, let's have limits to which we as politicians can get to the extent of, can have limits when we are talking about individuals, but also give the families of politicians to also take decisions as families without we influencing them, because at the end of the day it's a private issue. Let the families remain even when people are in politics. Let's not interfere in people's families because there must be a limit. I wouldn't want to find people because of politics entering into their bedrooms. It's not right. It's unethical. They need to be told that there is a limit to everything. But who establishes the limit? I think it's about somebody's upbringing.
Now, of course, there should be demarcations as to how we follow into other people's affairs, especially their families, as Justin Kasule Lumumba has put it. I'll go for a short break and return with more stories. Don't go away.
Watching STV, select for fun.
Get ready to vote.
Dear Ugandans, let me take you through what you need to ensure that your ballot paper is properly marked. On arrival at the polling station on polling day, wash your hands, wear your face masks, and observe social distance to limit the spread of COVID-19. Ensure that your hands are dry before you receive a ballot paper from the polling official. Mark your candidate using the authorized mark of choice. Use either a tick or a thumbprint. Place the authorized mark of your choice in the corresponding space for your candidate using a pen or a stamp pad provided by the Electoral Commission. Ensure that your tick or thumbprint does not cross to the other candidate's space. If that happens, the vote is invalid and therefore will not be counted for your candidate. Do not use any other mark other than the tick or the thumbprint to vote for your candidate. If you do so, your vote will be invalid. This message is from the Electoral Commission.
Kwerinda nkulu nnyo era omuntu asaanidde okwekuuma n'ebibye. Wano nno Eagle Eye Security and Technologies Limited weeviiriddeyo. Balina buli kika kya CCTV camera, alarm systems, bw'owa ekidduka kyo ng'emmotoka oba pikipiki, weefulire GPS tracking system okuva mu bakafulu bano. Balina fensi z'amasannyalaze, razor wire ne access control ez'enzigi. Basange Najjanankumbi, Entebbe Road okumpi ne Shell Kazi, opposite TNT Supermarket. Bakubire ku simu 0705 367 732 oba 0789 357 099. Eagle Eye Security and Technologies Limited.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
Welcome back to Select for Fun. Glad you're still watching Select News with me, Kara Tumwine. Now, don't forget we are streaming live on our social media platform. That's at STV Uganda on Facebook. You can go down and comment, like and share. Also tell us what you think about the stories that we are bringing you this evening. Moving on to our COVID-19 updates. 2021, where 258 new cases have made it to the table today, as well as cumulative confirmed cases of Ugandans to date, which stand at 37,554, as well as cumulative deaths to date, 301, adding to one death in that area, as well as total cumulative recoveries to date, 12,720, which has 101 new cases, as well as 780,000 cases, which are the new cases. Now this means that 446,000 new cases have been confirmed as of today, the 9th of January. Also, do not forget to wash your hands regularly as a measure to prevent yourself from acquiring the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as wearing your mask in public places and maintaining a social distance of 2 meters from the other person. Also, moving on to our next story after the COVID-19 updates, where the residents of Katosi lost their cool after the unknown goons tore one of their candidates' posters in the wee hours of the night. Now the candidate, also known as Senyonga, is vying for the post of chairperson LC5.
Empulyanga bagamba okutimba ebipande ku signpost z'oluguudo musango tugende olabe wali signpost zonna kyera nsobola n'okuvuga emmotoka nga sitegere oba kino kiki ekiriwo
ekyabadde kibalumba okujja ekipande kye bataalita kyabadde kyaki balirese wakiri ebyabo ne babisawo teyali badde yabibagobya naye okukwala ebipande byaffe twasaamu sente zaffe bo bajje babikwate babitimbule babitwale twagala ebipande byaffe babizeewo wano bani
era nze mbaddemu ne mbagamba kimu nti abantu twagale ng'omuntu nga tumwagala ng'omuntu tetumwagalako sente kwe baba bamuwadde emitwalo 3 mwayiga mukozesa ekyo talina ebisisi abadde alina okukola lwakugera kufa
babizana kuba luno olusi lutalo guno mupiira anasinga osamba omulungi yanaateeba goolo tuli mu lutalo okole ebipande byaffe babisi
wadde nga nnoonya akalulu era essente zange eziŋŋendako nga nnoonya akalulu zinnuma okwenkanankaniza Museveni, zinnuma okwenkanankaniza omuntu omukifu omulala yenna wadde oli ayinza oba nga alina obusobozi bwa biliyoni esente olunaku nga nze nkosezza miliyoni 2-3 nezinnuma kubanga bwe busobozi bwange naye kyezinzijje mu mbeera okugamba nti olw'okuba nsanze omuntu nga ayuza ekipande kyange mutemeko omukono tezinzijje mu mbeera mirwanira nga alwanira amaka gewammwe ng'enjuuyo nti kati omusajja antwalako enju yange whether you like it or not nga bwewajja nga tekyali kikyo kijja kutuuka ekiseera nga si kikyo kati okufiira ku muntu olw'ebyobufuzi ddala nenkera ku makyanga nze ssennyonga kubanga oli anze obuuza nti njogeza bunafu soogeza bunafu teri munafu awangula disitulikiti ya Mukono nze ndi era abalala bonna abamuke nga beegomba kunfaanana naye sisobola kukeera kuddira mu ofiisi eno nenzikisa muntu nenzijamu eriso ly'omuntu nemmenya omukono atabagana nga yamaze okukuma omuliro si mulungi waliwo abajja ne batabagana olw'okutunuza amaaso naye ng'emitima gyabwe luyimba lwani yayimba nti lwa maggwa yayimba amaggwa nti kungulu bafaanana ne munda nga mutima mubi omuntu yenna ayagala okujja okulitendinga alaga okutabagana wano mu maaso naye nga yagenze emabega n'atabangula abalonzi yalagira mugende mubateege mubakube n'akimala nga yakikoze ate n'amaliriza nga yajja n'okwerongoosa ng'eri eyasindise oyo mubi na nnyo.
Moving on to our next story, where the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology has introduced a civic voter education mobile app, Uchaguzi, which is a new voter information platform app unveiled to ensure interactivity and ease access of information on electoral voter and voter education. Let's take a look.
According to the ministry, the app will bridge the election knowledge gap between Electoral Commission and voters and avoid the risks that come with crowding to get a VLS. As distribution of voter allocation slips VLS continues, there are reports of overwhelming voter turn-up across the country. This has triggered fears of mass COVID-19 infections as people recklessly crowd the centres to pick their voter slips without wearing masks or observing social distancing. In some areas, voters were stranded as they could not see the Electoral Commission officials designated to issue out the VLS. This new platform has 3 digital assets: a website, which is www.uchaguzi.go.ug, a mobile application and a chatbot. The same information is syndicated across 3 channels. You can use the app or website to locate the polling station where you will cast the vote on the 14th of January 2021. On the website, Voter Locator is the first item on how to vote section. One needs to enter their voter number, application ID or national ID number NIN to know where they will vote. There are 26.83 million mobile connections in Uganda as of January 2020 and 5.22 million smartphone users registered in 2018. Are those numbers significant enough to boost the use of this app? The question remains. Regarding Ugandan population versus the use of smartphones to cast their votes and be part of the new scientific elections wave was one of the most complex issues that the Electoral Commission had to deal with. The distribution of over 3 million radios on village levels was suggested as a solution, but the response was not positive, and research from Makerere University found that it would not work. With the campaigns done and the elections barely 4 days, the question still remains. How will the Electoral Commission control crowds that will converge to cast the ballot? Elijah Tudiagmanawi, Latif Ahmed for STV Select News.
Thank you so much for being such an amazing audience. I hope you are following us down on our social media platforms. Now, of course, my name is Kara Tumina. Right about now, I should take a short break and return with headlines. Don't go away.
Watching STV Select for Fun.
Ku lw'enkulaakulana ya disitulikiti y'e Wakiso, Londa Moses Mayanja abeere ssentebe wo musajja mukozi. mwesimbu atasosola mu bantu era anywerera ku mazima yakuguka mu busomesa era nga ye mutandisi w'amasomero g'abasawo aga Chemiquip Medical Laboratory Training Schools mu ggwanga era nga mu kunyweza omutindo gw'ebyenjigiriza agabye bursaries ez'obwereere eri abayizi abatalina mwasirizi ayambye abavubuka bangi okufuna obukugu obwetandikira bw'emirimu mu wakisano katale k'ensi yonna. Mayanja mwana nzaalwa y'e Masuuliita era nga mu bbanga ery'emyaka 4 gyokka gy'akulembedde mu Town Council asobodde okusuumuusa ekitundu kino ekyali kyasigalira emabega olw'olutalo lwa 1986 mu byenfuna. Ono atandiseewo enkola ey'okuzimbira abantu amayumba ku busente obutonotono nga bayise mu kitongole ekimanyiddwa nga Masuuliita Housing Cooperatives. Ono asobodde okutandika omulimu gw'okuzimba enguudo za kolasi mu kitundu kino ne banka ya BCP gye yatandikawo ejunya abalimi n'abasuubuzi mu kitundu kino okwewolereramu ensimbi ekibasobozesezza okwekulaakulanya. Mayanja kati nno akusaba akaluluko ng'ennaku z'omwezi 2 okusobola okutebenkeza disitulikiti y'e Wakiso mu byenfuna n'okugoba obwavu mu maka gaffe. Together we can make Wakiso great.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
In our headlining stories tonight, Museveni campaigns in Yumbe district, commissions a hospital there, and residents show their dissatisfaction over one of their members' posters tore down. Also tonight, residents of Chotera district vow not to vote NRM back to power in their district. And in sport, national basketball team Silverbacks have convened yet again in camp for training. This and many more coming up in Select News tonight.
Watching Select News with me, Kara Tumwini. Thank you so much for being such an amazing audience. Moving on to our business stories, let's take a look at what made headlines here in these charts. Now, government has withdrawn earlier preparations to phase out existing passports by January 2021 to pave way for electronic passports. Following the introduction of new East African e-passport, government has mulled plans to have old machine-readable passports phased out for the new ones.
The latest statement by the Ministry of Internal Affairs Permanent Secretary Benon Mutambi, government has decided to halt plans to phase out the old passports by January 2021 as had earlier been announced. Due to the restrictions that have been brought about by COVID-19 pandemic, the deadline of phasing out the machine-readable passports cannot be achieved without inconveniencing the public. We would like to notify the public of the decision to extend the phase-out period to April 4th, 2022. Mutambi said in a statement. The Ministry of Internal Affairs Permanent Secretary, however, urged members of the public to use this window until 2022 to acquire the new e-passports to avoid any inconveniences when the deadline approaches. Government recently moved passport applications online, a process which is quicker since it doesn't need one to get recommendations from local leaders as was the procedure in the past. The new online system is integrated with the National Identity Registration Authority, NIRA, where information on national IDs is used for the passport. Latifa Hamid, Select News.
All right, moving on to our next story, which is from the sports camp. The national basketball team, Silverbacks, have convened yet again in camp for training. This team is in preparation for the second window of the Afro-Basket qualifiers in Cairo, Egypt. Let's take a look.
The Ugandan national basketball team, the Silverbacks, have entered camp and are intensively training and preparing at the Ugandan Christian Bible University in Entebbe. The training for the local basketball players began on 15th December under the guidance of assistant coach Mande Juruni to prepare for the second window of the Afro basketball tournament due to take place between 19th February and 21st February 2021 for the qualifiers in Cairo. Players in camp include Cesar Chizito of Sharing and KIU youngster Peter Obleng, who joined the 7 players who were on the team in the first window as Captain Jimmy Enabu, Tony Drileba, Joseph Ekong, Ben Komakech, and James Okello of City Oil, Titus Ral Odeke, and Bale Fayed of the Mugera of Warriors. It should be remembered that the Silverbacks won 2 games against Morocco, Cape Verde, and lost 1 to hosts Egypt and came out second. And in the second window, Uganda will need 1 win to book a place in the 2021 Afrobasket tournament, where Uganda will rub shoulders with the Africa's basketball heavyweights such as Cameroon, Tunisia, DRC, Senegal, Ivory Coast, Mozambique, Nigeria, Rwanda, Angola, among others, which tournament will take place in Kigali, Rwanda at the end of 2021. For Select Sports News, Migisa Angela and Seika Yasin Sekalala.
Thank you so much, our reporters Angela and Saika, for that beautiful story. Moving on, STV caught up with one of Uganda's prominent kickboxers. He advised other bodybuilders not to use their talent to cause chaos around the community.
It is an intercontinental fight. This is a title I won. Fight Yagenda Bulungi Ninsobora Jiwangula. This is the title. Of which buli omu every sportsman alina okufaayo nnyo kulaba nti atambuza talenti ye. Bwe kitaba ekyo mulimu okukula olina okugenda walusi emiti emito gijja kusanga nga okyaliyo okyewunza ate osange nga tokyali ku map. So naffe bwe tunanga tukula tubeeko kye tukola nga tukireseewo already. Kibi nnyo kuba oyo abadde agwa mu sayidi zombi eza kickboxing ne ya boxing. Kubanga bwolaba bulijjo abazze bafollowinga era fights zaffe yatambulangako neggolola nga y'omu ku bakooki be abashapeninga ggolola ku bikonde asobole okuba nga azanya omuzannyo omulungi. Kibi nnyo kyatukosa nnyo naye tusaba Katonda amuwe ekiwumula ekirungi naffe nga bwe bagamba twebeereremu tuleke tusabe nnyo Katonda tusobole okugenda mu maaso n'omuzannyo gwaffe guno. Abazze banfollowinga mu ensonda zonna eza side ey'amagye ne side ey'aba civilian kuba mbadde nnyo mu civilian life nga ntambula nabo muzze mulaba nga bwe neeyisa. It is a good talent kuva eri Katonda nti baba akuwadde ekitone kino alina okuwa amagezi nga bw'olina okikolesa ate n'empisa ze yakukuzaamu. Badde nsaba abaana baffe tubakulirize mu mpisa ez'obwakatonda tubeere nga tukkiriza nti Katonda gy'ali tube nga tumanya nti nga tumutambuliramu. Okukola ekibi nsuubira nawe tukikuyisa kitiibwa, kola ekirungi kikuyisa ekitiibwa mu ngeri yakyo ng'ekirungi.
All right, thank you so much for that story. Now moving on, we are going to close our news today. Thank you so much for being a part of this amazing Select News. Please do join us on Monday, of course, to Saturday for another power-packed bulletin. My name is Kara Tumwine. Thank you so much and good night.